Hello learners, I Dr. Niradhar De, faculty member, School of Education, Indira Gandhi National Open University, welcome you all to today's session, that is domains of school subjects. Friends, this is one of the important topic of your online course, Understanding Disciplines and Subjects, and we will try to discuss that what are the different domains of school subjects. So, before going through the content point, let me to just give the information that we are presently we are in the 5th week of this online course, Understanding Disciplines and Subjects, and at present we are in the 5th module also, and the title of this module is Subject Concerns in School Curriculum. Okay, in school curriculum, how the subjects should be organized, what content based, it also includes the pedagogy, okay, it also includes the epistemology, the knowledge of knowledge which the learners require at a particular stage in different subjects. So, that is also important aspect. So, this module specifically based upon some of the very important aspect of your course is concerned. And I have already said in my earlier program that earlier video session that in module 5, 4 video programs that have been included. First is curriculum, syllabi and school education. We have already discussed in our earlier video program. And the next, today, now in this session, we are going to discuss that is domains of school subjects. And further another 2 programs are there, that is curricular materials, its types and importance, and further implications of curricular divisions for a learner-centered pedagogy. Okay, so these are the 4 video programs which is included in module 5. So now let us focus upon the second video program, that is domains of school subject. So friends, before discussing the specific content point, first of all, let us focus upon the learning outcomes of this content point. Already you have received the PDF based material, the e-content, and at the same time, after going through this video program, I am sure that you will be able to explain the broad domains of school education such as humanities, social sciences, sciences and mathematics. Okay, so these are the 4 different areas of studies, these are the 4 different domains of studies to whom you can say that these are the broad domains of school education, because our school education curriculum is mostly focused upon these 4 areas: humanities, social science, sciences and mathematics. Okay, so you will find that under humanities you are studying different languages. It may be English literature, it may be Hindi, it may be Sanskrit, and it may be other language also, other Indian languages also. Okay, and under social science you are studying history, you are studying political science, you are studying economics, you are studying sociology, okay, you are studying public administration and other subjects also. Okay, and under sciences you are studying physics, chemistry, botany, zoology and other science related subjects, and mathematics is also another important which comes under across the streams or across the disciplines, you can say. You will find that group of students, those are from social science background or arts and humanities background, they are also studying mathematics. At the same time, the students of science, particularly from the students, those are from the science background, from the science stream, they also compulsorily study mathematics. So, mathematics is a subject just like this is a skill based subject, means it is related to computation, this is related to certain reasoning, this is related to certain mathematical calculation and computational skills. So, that is why, so there is no boundary. Even if arts and humanities subjects, a student of commerce, you will find that they study business mathematics. So, the concept of mathematics is included across the disciplines, or you can say across the streams. But here we are going to discuss that after going through this video program, you will be able to explain the broad domains of school education, that what are the different knowledge areas, what are the different experiences of different domains of school education, that is humanities, social science, sciences and mathematics. And further you will be able to discuss the issues concerning integrated curriculum. So try to understand here. We are now we are talking about the teaching learning experiences, the teaching learning process, and our classroom practices, which is inclusive as well as integrated in nature. So that's why when teaching learning process is inclusive, when our schools are inclusive, and when our curriculum is inclusive, you will find that we have to develop a type of integrated curriculum. Okay, the learners, they're supposed to get a type of integrated knowledge. Okay, so knowledge which is related for their mental development, for their social development, for their emotional development, for their spiritual development. Okay, so that's why how to develop the curriculum, keeping in consideration how to develop the integrated curriculum, keeping in consideration of the broad domains of school education, that is humanities, social sciences, sciences, and mathematics. So friends, now let us try to understand the major content points which is discussed in this video program. First of all, the broad domains of school subject. I have already discussed that. The major 4 broad domains of school subjects that we practice in our school education system, that is humanities, that includes mostly the language areas, including the foreign language, at the same time all the Indian languages, including Sanskrit, Hindi, Urdu, and all other Indian languages. Then further, art and craft is also another important aspects in humanities. Then further, social sciences, sciences and mathematics. Here friends, I think one question may be arising in your mind that why we are talking about the broad domains of school education, why we are focusing open on the core subject of school education. These domains are the core subject, you can say core domains of school education. At the same time, you will find that many other, or you can say that's called as the other areas of knowledge. When we talk about the integrated curriculum is not all about only these core subjects, rather how to develop art and the knowledge and the understanding the skill on art and craft of the for the learners. Okay, so how to develop you can say a type of value education, a type of peace education. So how to involve students in many activities and in many, you can say, practices which is related to certain values, and how to involve learners in different types of work education. You can say social useful productive work, SUPW. Okay, so how to integrate it in curriculum. And further we can say art and craft education. And if I will give the example of Mahatma Gandhi, you will find that the concept of education which is given by Mahatma Gandhi, Gandhiji says that by education I mean an all-round drawing out of the best in man, best in child, body, mind and spirit. So here you see development in body, development in mind and development in spirit. So 3 types of development. Development in body means physical development. So when you will involve yourself in different craft education and different physical education, okay, you will find that definitely your physical development will happen. Then further intellectual development, when you will involve in knowledge discourses, when you will involve in discussions, in debate, in deliberations, in interactions, and when you will involve in different curricular activities, scholastic activities. Okay, and you will do certain things, you will write certain things, you will listen the lecture of the teachers, and you will demonstrate certain things. Okay, so you will participate in peer activities and group activities. You will find that your mental development will occur. At the same time, spiritual development, that is related to certain values. Okay, so many spiritual activities, value-based activities that are supposed to be conducted. Many then for social development, you will find that this is also given importance, that how to involve the concept of social practices, social values is also another important aspect. So here just to discuss the foundational aspects of human existence. So friends, if we'll talk about the human existence, you will find that there are 2 types of foundational aspect is required. One is the core faculties of human mind and other is the empirical needs of material life. So try to understand here. So one is the core faculties of the human mind. That means for our existence, you see what we are doing, we are just experiencing many things. We are acquiring knowledge. We are observing many aspects. We are observing many phenomena. We are observing many facts which is happening in our environment. Okay, maybe in our physical environment, maybe in our society, maybe in our community, maybe in our family, maybe in our school, when we visit, when we do certain activities, when we involve ourselves in many, you can say, many activities, you will find that we use our mental process, we use our cognizance, we use our intellect, okay, our knowledge. We try to understand, we try to perceive certain things, we observe certain things, then we differentiate certain things, okay, we develop our understanding and comprehension. Then further, after acquiring knowledge, so what we do, we also try to use that knowledge, apply that knowledge in our day-to-day activities. At the same time, we also apply that knowledge in other areas. Okay, so that's why let me to say that knowledge, experiences and skills which is related with the core faculties of human mind, that we acquire knowledge, we develop experiences, at the same time we also develop many skills, and that is also possible through observation, by developing the reason. It may be deductively or it may be inductively, but it may be through deductive reasoning or it may be through inductive reasoning, and further we rationalize the things. Okay, so we justify the things, means how the things are happening. Then further we can say that the core faculties of human mind, that also includes for development of attitude, creativity and values. So what we do, as per our creativity, as per the creativity of the individual, as per the aptitude of the individual, you will find that they are involved in many mental activities. So that's why, friend, for fundamental this is one of the fundamental aspect of human existence, that individual or the human involve their mental faculties for understanding the physical phenomena, for understanding the social phenomena, for understanding the intellectual phenomena, for understanding the physical phenomena which is going on, the spiritual phenomena which is going on in this world. And friends, only satisfying or only involving, only engaging the core faculties of human mind is also not enough for fundamental aspects of human existence, for the human existence. So that's why what the human beings they do, they involve themselves empirically for material life, because that is also essence of life. They have to survive in this world, they have to survive in this world. So that's why they involve their creative faculties, they involve their mental faculties for creating certain knowledge, at the same time certain, you can say, certain products also which they're supposed to use. You can take the example of in our material life, at home, at the society, in our in educational institutions, we use many material goods. So have you ever asked that how these material goods the articles that have been developed? Okay, you will find that first of all the core faculties of human mind is involved, the creativity that individuals, they have started about such things as per the requirements, as per the need, then accordingly they have given a shape. So that's why creation and construction, so how to create different things, how to create different material goods for our material life, for the individual's material life, then further how to construct it. Okay, so here two types of construction we are saying. One is knowledge construction, at the same time keeping in consideration of the knowledge construction, how to construct different articles, different goods which is required for our material life. So that is also based upon certain research. You will find that the teachers, you will find that the group of researchers, they are involved for creating, for innovating new things, and that new things you will find that the next generation, or you will find in this world the people are using. Okay, so you can take the example of how the society is developing, how this world is developing, how development takes place in science and technology. Okay, so this is all about the empirical need of the human being for better material life. So that's why we can say individual need and social need is also one of the important or fundamental aspect of human existence. Then they do innovations and invention. So these are the two things you should keep in your mind, that for human existence it requires core faculties, it requires for engagement of core faculties of human mind, okay, for doing the cognitive work, for doing the mental activities. At the same time, from mental exercises, the new creation, new construction, it should come, okay. So that is come under the empirical needs of material life. Then further, to talk about the guiding principles for the NCF 2005, keeping in consideration the different domain, this different subject domains that we have discussed, we can say that the guiding principles are building a commitment to values of democracy like equality, freedom, justice, concerns for others' well-being. Okay, so here what we are doing, we are committed to do this. We are committed for achieving the equality, achieving the freedom. Then you can say for justice. Then concerns for others' well-being, how others will live happily, live peacefully. That is also another important aspect. Then secularism, how to practice secularism. Then respect for human dignity and rights. Okay, human dignity and rights are also another important aspect. Then further we can say the guiding principles of NCF 2005, that is also developing the ability to work and participate in the economic process and social change. So friends, try to understand here two things we are just giving importance. One is developing the ability to work and participate in the economic process and social change, developing the ability to work. So education in NCF 2005, this is the guiding principle, that the curriculum should provide or should make able to the children to work, okay, in different world of work. You will find that group of children, they will prefer a particular type of work and they will acquire certain skill, and you will find that that is for their participation or the participation of children's participation of students in their further life in different world of work is linked with the economic development or the economic processes and social change. Friends, we consider that our society is a ever-changing and a dynamic society. Every time, every moment, every situation, you will find that the society is changing. Society is a ever-changing aspect. Okay, society is never static. Okay, so that's why, friend, here let me to say that changes takes place in the society because of the economic development, because of development in other aspect, because of the development of our intellect, because of literacy. So friends, here ability to work, that means our curriculum, our national curriculum, that should enable the child not only to acquire knowledge, rather to practice that knowledge, to develop, to involve themselves in world of work and to acquire many skills. They should develop hands-on activities. Then further, the guiding principles for the NCF 2005, it also provides opportunities to enhance the child's creative expression and the capacity for aesthetic participation. Okay, so here every curriculum should provide certain space, should provide certain scope to the learners, scope to the students for their creative talent, for developing their creative talent, and accordingly to work as per their creativity. You will find that a group of students, they are really creative in nature, creative in nature. In your school, you might have experienced that few students, they are coming forward with many new ideas, many new innovations, and many new concepts. Okay, so this is based upon their creativity. And if our curriculum will not provide space, provide scope to that group of learners for you can say practicing or for exhibiting their creativity and fulfilling their creativity, then you can't say that this curriculum is a good curriculum. So that's why NCF 2005, in NCF 2005, this is another guiding principle, that how to provide creativity, child's creativity and expression, a space in the curriculum, and aesthetic appreciation also. So many a time you will find that when we talk about the learning of literature, language and literature, you will find that a sense of appreciation is also one of the part. Okay, you will find that the learners, after going through a particular literature, after reading a particular literature, they appreciate that literature because that literature touches their heart. So that's why a sense of appreciation that's supposed to be achieved through the curriculum, and it should be one of the guiding principles. So that's why this capacity for aesthetic appreciation is also one of the important aspects. Then further we can say learning to learn, how to learn. So what techniques supposed to be used for learning? Self-learning techniques, you can say, group learning techniques, peer learning techniques. So learning to learn. So learners, they supposed, or the curriculum should provide opportunity to the learners. They should learn that how to learn, and willingness to learn and relearn. Okay, so after learning, so how to repeat it again, how to modify it also. Okay, in case of any feedback, any comments, then further how they will modify, and they will develop their willingness for relearn. That is also another important aspect, that is also the guiding principle of NCF 2005. Okay, so these are the certain important aspects, and you can say learning to learn, and the willingness to learn and relearn as a means of responding to new situations in a flexible and creative manner. So how to address in a situation, how to respond to a situation in a very flexible manner, in a very creative manner, how to solve your problem in a very different way, in different, because you are facing your problem, there may be the context of your problem may be different. So how to understand it, then how to solve it, how to analyze it, how to synthesize it in different ways. Okay, so that is also another important aspect of that is come under the guiding principles for the NCF 2005. And you will find that all these guiding principles which is included in the curriculum framework, that is for the overall and the total development of the personality of the child. And further we can say the domains of learning in NCF 2005, mostly two domains are given importance. One is the core areas of knowledge, and other is the other areas of knowledge. Under core areas of knowledge, you will find the language, mathematics, science and social science, and under other areas of knowledge, you will find that art education, health and physical education, work education, and education for peace. So here how to integrate these two. This is not all about only the curricular domain or the scholastic domain, rather the co-scholastic domain, co-curricular domain, or the other areas of the domain of other areas. Just like art education, you will find that group of children, group of students, they are highly inclined, they have the creativity, they have the aptitude towards art education, they have the aptitudes towards health and physical education, they have the aptitude and inclination towards work education, towards peace education. So how to integrate it in the curriculum, so that we have to provide holistic knowledge, inclusive knowledge to the children. So that's why all these two core areas of knowledge as well as other areas of knowledge are equal importance in the curriculum. And further we can say, if I'll talk about the domain of language, which is one of the domain of one of the core subject domain, it includes inbuilt linguistic potential of the children, that how the linguistic skills they're supposed to earn, listening, speaking, reading and writing. Okay, these are the you can say these are the mother skills of any language study. So it emphasizes the learners to acquire all these skills. Then further activities aligning for language teaching. Okay, so what are the different activities that's supposed to be used, that you will study in the pedagogy, but it includes the domain of language. Then further making language teaching resourceful. So what are the different resource materials the teachers supposed to use for teaching language? Then for development of literacy. Okay, so because you see the language skills are the literacy skill. Okay, mostly two types of skill. One is the language skill they will able to write certain things, they will able to speak, they will able to listen, able to understand, you can say the concept of others, the ideas of others, at the same time computation skills. So that's why development of literacy is also another important aspect which is come under the domain of language. And further appreciation and creation, I have already said that when we talk about the domain of language as a subject, it includes a sense of appreciation. So if the children are failed to appreciate a good literature after going through it, after reading it, then you can't say that proper teaching learning process have been conducted. So that's why a sense of appreciation and creation. You'll find that language learning is also enable the learners to create certain new literature, and further feeling and realization, which is related to the affective domain, development of attitude, realization of certain things, feeling, okay, our feeling, emotion and feeling aspect, that is also developed through the domain of language. Further, try to understand the domain of mathematics. It includes, we have to go beyond the narrow aim of numeracy. So mathematics is not all about numbers and numeracy, rather a sense of development of reasoning is also another important aspect. So how to go beyond the numeracy for understanding mathematics as a subject, as a domain of school curriculum, and further developing thinking mathematically. So how do you think mathematically? Then further developing and using our reasoning, maybe inductive reasoning or maybe deductive reasoning for the logical conclusion and abstraction, how to develop abstract knowledge and how to understand abstract concept also. Develop, think abstractly and understand abstractly. Okay, abstract concept, that is possible through the domain of mathematics. Then formulate and solve problems. So how to formulate the problem and how to solve problem, it is also another important aspect. Then thinking inductively and deductively, I have already said. Then the domain of science, it includes good science education is true to child life and science. So here it includes the child's life as well as science. It relates the life and science, means how science is important for human life. So the child will realize it, feel it. Then making science curriculum instrumental. So how to use many instruments for scientific experiment, for doing scientific activities. Okay, so science is related with certain instruments. Okay, so how to use those instruments, especially at the laboratories. Then further science for social change. So how changes in the society that is possible through science is also comes under the domain of science. Then encouraging inquiring skills. Okay, so how the children, they will develop the skill of inquiring. Okay, means how they will come out with new innovation, new concept. Then encouraging science in everyday life. So how to use science in everyday life, in our school life, in our home life, in our community life, in our group life. Okay, then creativity and scientific temper. So how to develop creativity and scientific attitude, scientific temper, and think scientifically. Okay, so that is also important aspects which come under the domain of science. And when we talk about social science, here it is based upon the knowledge best for a just and peaceful society. So how to establish a peaceful society. Okay, peace education is included for developing such attitudes, such values among the students. Then inculcation of social values. Then engaging in social discourses, different social discourses in cultures, in traditions. Okay, in different social, you can say social activities, social happenings. Then understanding diversity. So how to understand social diversity? We consider our society is a diversified society, but we have achieved unity among the diversities. We consider that all these diversities are our strength, not the weaknesses. Okay, so accordingly we have achieved the unity. Then further the concept of equality, equity and quality, you will find that it also included in the domain of social science. Only equality is not enough. So for bringing the children, bringing the students at a particular stage of life, at a particular level of learning, that's called as the equity. Or for equity, varieties of methods, varieties of techniques, varieties of ways that can be used in the teaching learning process, in the curriculum. Only one method, only one technique, only one ways is not enough. So that's why varieties of methods can be used, varieties of techniques in teaching as well as in assessment can be used for achieving quality in education. Then further we can say bring change and mobility in the society. So just like through science we can bring changes in the society, through language we can bring changes in the society. Again, through the study of social science, it is also come under the domain of social science that we can bring changes and mobility in the society. The changes in the society from one strata to other strata, how from lower strata to higher strata, how the people will move. Okay, so that is also another important aspect. And for this, many important, for integrated curriculum, you will find that many important concept we can discuss that can be further you can say included in the curriculum. Okay, in the included for providing integrated, inclusive and holistic knowledge in the curriculum. Okay, so you can just let me to give few examples. If we talk about the concept and the content point of water and market, okay, I'm just giving few example. Water is a content point that may be included in science, that may be included in social science, that may be included in languages. Okay, so this topic can be taught across the curriculum. So accordingly market can also be studied in economics, market can also be studied in mathematics, market can also studied in other social science subjects. So friends, when we construct the curriculum, we should understand that how integrated knowledge should given to the students, because now we are moving from a you can say to a transdisciplinary, from a multiple disciplinary approach to transdisciplinary approach we are just moving. So accordingly we should develop our curriculum in a very transdisciplinary approach, in a very integrated way. Then making teaching and learning multi and transdisciplinary approach. Already I have said that how to use many disciplines, accordingly how to design the content, how to organize the content in the subject. Then further we can say that integrated curriculum comes under the learner-centered pedagogy. Okay, the pedagogy which is highly learner-centered in nature. Then further we can use multiple methods and media, I have already said, for achieving the equity. Okay, and multiple resources also, not only one resources, many resources we can use. So friends, in this program we discussed about that how to develop our curriculum according to the domains of school subject is concerned, and how to develop integrated curriculum also. Every domain of subject is having its knowledge base, and at the same time for achieving multi and transdisciplinary approach of teaching learning process, how the learners will get the benefits of content across the subjects. Then accordingly inclusively and integratedly how to develop the curriculum. And in our next program we will discuss other subject, other topic related to your online course. Thank you.